Hey everyone, and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in southern Tasmania. This is the tutorial video for my July Fun Fold class. Apologies if you've already received your kit by the time I send you the link to this video. It's the week's just got away from me, and I couldn't believe it when I sat down and realised it was Friday already. But hopefully not many of your kits have arrived yet, so you're just ready to go once you get this video. We've got 3 cards this month. We've got a really nice reverse gatefold here that features the Splendid Day bundle, this one here, with the paper that's absolutely to die for. If you can see in your pack, it's just so sparkly. It's lovely. We have a double Z card here that features the He's the Man designer series paper, which coincidentally is also my product class for today. So if you like this one, check out my Facebook page and see whether and pop on and do that product class as well. And this interesting little one here with some blocks of colour from the Pretty Prince designer series paper, and this sort of flourish of leaves. It looks a bit like parsley from the Meadows dies. Anyway, so that's our 3 cards today. All you should need are your adhesives, foam squares, dimensionals, glue, maybe some glue dots, and your sentiments. And I'm using black ink for these 2, the sentiments. I think I'm using Early Espresso on this one. So if you've got a brown ink or something that matches Early Espresso, grab it out for that one there if you'd like to. Okay, so let's get started. We might as well do this one first since it's here in front of me. I'll pop the other 2 away. Okay, so here are your kit, my kit. Your kit might look a bit different because I've actually got 2 cards in this one, getting ready for the Zoom class in a couple of weeks. So I've got the two kits ready to go. So you've obviously got, I'll pop this one away, you've got a card base. This is crumb cake card stock, and it's 11 inches long. It's been scored at 5.5 and 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 and 5.5, that gives us our Z. Then you've got a narrower piece of, I need to get it all out here so I can, trouble is when I've got 2 kits in here, I'm going to have to sort one kit from another. You've got a narrower piece of Early Espresso cardstock, and it's also 11 inches long. It's 1 inch wide, and it's also been scored at 2 3/4 and 5.5, and that sort of gives us the opposite Z there for our putting our sentiment on. I like this. I think it sort of looks like a belt with a buckle going in front of the card. That's sort of the look I sort of thought I was going to get. Then you've got other pieces of layers of Early Espresso. You've got a large one there for the inside. You've got a smaller one here for the front. You've also got a layer of Very Vanilla. That's for the inside. Make sure I only get one out. And then we've got some various layers of card of the really nice He's the Man designer series paper as well. That's about all I'll get out for the moment. There's some, as you saw drop out before, there's some embellishments there and some little stitch squares, but I'll bring them out once we've got the card popped together. Okay, fairly standard construction for a double Z. We might as well start with the inside back. So grab your glue or your snail or whatever it is your adhesive of choice, and pop that panel, that layer of Early Espresso straight in to the back or the inside of the card, just like that. Okay. Not much to it. Then grab, you've got 2 pieces of designer series paper. One of them will definitely be this one with the shoes and ties and mustaches and bow ties and things in it. So keep that one out. You don't want to use that one straight away. You actually want to use the other piece you've got. Some of you will have this one, and some of you will have the one that's got like cross pieces in there. It sort of depends where I was in, putting the kits together. Anyway, so you've got one, the cross hash or the planer of the 2, I suppose, goes on the right hand side of that back panel, and then your your piece of Very Vanilla goes next to it. So what you need to do is position both those pieces so that you've got sort of the same sort of distance left, right and middle, and you line them up top and bottom as well. So something a bit like that. This is obviously where you're going to write your personal message or put your inside sentiment. And this one is just to sit there and look pretty. I'll pop that one there, same distance top and bottom. And we'll bring in our Very Vanilla and the same thing. There we are. Okay, so you've got those inside there. As I say, you can put a happy birthday or happy Father's Day or something like that on that inside Very Vanilla panel. So this front piece, which has the extra fold in it, will obviously fold over like that. And that gives us our Z fold there. Okay. So on the front of this one, you're going to pop another panel of Early Espresso, the smaller layer. And that one should line up top and bottom with the one you've popped behind. Same sort of distances. Just going to see if I can move that a wee bit more over a bit. Don't think I can now. I just wanted to hide that Very Vanilla behind that fold. And it's peeking out a wee bit, so probably check that before you actually glue dries, just so you know that you hide it behind there. Anyway, that's all good. So we've got that one on the front. Then this other piece with all your bow ties and shoes and things pops on top of that. Okay. So that's pretty cute. That's a fairly normal Z fold card we've got happening there. Nothing to be sniffed at all. It's quite lovely. Okay, we're going to make the double Z aspect of it now. So you've got this sort of Z, funny sort of long-tailed Z happening here. So what you need to do, this Z has to be sort of like in the opposite orientation to that Z. So that Z's got the long piece there, short. So this one's going to have the long piece, well, the long piece on this one sort of goes off to the right. The long piece on this one's going to go off to the left. So that's, if you can see that there, that's the sort of look you're going for. So when it's open, you've got like a square, it forms a square, and when it's closed, they fit together like that. So if you just flip it over, you can see that that's sort of inch wide piece folds flat in there like that. So we want to attach some glue here and then some glue on the back there on the bottom. So we'll do that one first. First rule when you're doing a fun fold card is always practice your folds before your glue dries. So always make sure that it closes and opens properly before your glue sets. So I've given that probably from the edge of the card to there, probably, what, about ½ an inch, maybe just over a centimetre, maybe a centimetre and a bit. I'm just going to pop some glue on that one. So this is the part that's in contact with the front. And just like that. And again, make sure they fold flat when they're folded so you can fit them in their envelope. And when they're open, you get that square. Okay, so there we are. So that's the double Z aspect of it. As you can see, you've got two Zs there, one tucked in behind the other one. Pretty much finished this one. We're going really well. So now in your kit as well, you should have a stitched square of Early Espresso and a stitched square of Very Vanilla. Now this uses the Stylish Shapes dies, which are brand new in the current catalogue. very worth getting hold of. So if you've missed the stitched squares from days gone by, yeah, so wonderfully useful die set. So the early espresso one, I'm just going to glue it straight to that little band, that little belt. So I'm just going to pop some glue just so I can center it. Pop some glue there where I want it, and then center it. So center it so it sort of is that piece of designer series paper that we've got in the background there. Make sure your square is sort of equal on, you know, left and right on that. You've just got a little gap poking out, and it's going to sit up like that. As you can see, don't pop it on too far down, because otherwise then your card won't sit up right. That just like that is what we're after. Okay, so our second square is where we're going to stamp our sentiment. I've popped, this one's got "Just Thinking of You Today," which is quite cute, but I'm going to swap this next one. I'm going to use from Quiet Meadow. I'm going to use the "Heartfelt Love and Caring Thoughts Are With You." I'm going to use that one. I did actually recently grab the stamp set that goes with the He's All That designer series paper. This is the He's All That stamp set. Unfortunately, I don't like any of the stamps that would actually fit within that little square. So next time, if I'm redoing this card, I will probably make it a bigger what's the word, square on the front, so I can use one of these awesome sentiments. But as I say, I'm going to use this one here, which it doesn't look like I've actually used. It's not very good, is it? I have to pop the sticker on. If you've never had to pop, or you've wondered how to pop the stickers on the back of these rubber stamps from Stampin' Up, I'll just show you now. So you grab your stamp out of its little protective surrounds. You take the back off the sticker. This is a little sort of concertina door cut in there. You line it up with the rubber stamp facing upwards, so you line it up with the contours of the little sticker, and then you rip it off, and there you've got your sticker on the back, and that lines up pretty much, or at least should line up pretty much with the words on the sticker, on the stamp. I'll just pop that on a little block, find myself my early espresso ink, and just give it a couple of practices. My early espresso inks are particularly juicy. So I find if I put too much ink on them, they tend to blur a bit. It just seems to be these ones. I've got a couple. There we are. That's not too bad. That's pretty good. Okay, so heartfelt love and caring thoughts are with you. Could just go a happy birthday or something if you've got to fit that little square. I'm going to pop that up onto some dimensionals just to give it some height. I'll use these little ones. So we're going to pop that straight over the little dark brown square. So as I mentioned, my product class this month also features the He's the Man designer series paper. If you'd like to pop on board with that one, you've got till the end of July to let me know. Okay, so there we are. That's our little belt there with it's almost like a little belt buckle, isn't it? Quite cute. Okay, so we've got your bling to pop in. I've got mine here somewhere. I did see it drop off before. So you should have these little blings here, which are specific to the He's the Man suite. They're the rustic metallic adhesive backed dots. They've got sort of like as the name implies, a metallic sort of look to them, almost like not a brass. It's not as bright as a brass, but you know, I don't know. Anyway, a metallic look. Let's just leave it at that. And you should have 3 for the card. And you can just pop those on around where you like. I'll pop one there and one there. And another one maybe up here. Yeah. Okay, so there we are. That's that one done. That's our double Z card there. So as I say, you've got pop another sentiment on the inside there. Write your personal message. Now looking at that, I think you'd probably be wise to either stamp that or write your personal message before you attach the band on the front, because it's a bit hard to get down in there. Or yeah, sort of write on it first before you attach it. But there we are. That's your first card. Hopefully you like that one. Pop this back in. So I've got them ready for our Zoom session. The Zoom session for this class is on the 31st from memory, 31st of July. That's a Sunday. So even if you have got the video, you're very welcome to join us to make these cards and have a few laughs along the way. It's always a lot of fun. Okay, so we'll pop both those away. Okay, that's card number 1. How are we going? 16 minutes. Pretty good. We might as well do card number 2, which is this beautiful Splendid Day bundle card. It's got lots of bling and soft colours. It's a bit like, it'd be lovely as a sort of a 21st card, engagement card, even a wedding card if you've got the appropriate sentiments that fit. Just going to get out all my bits. It's got the beautiful die cuts from the Splendid Day dies. Splendid Thoughts, I think they might be. It uses some gold foil, which, as you know, guys know, I guard jealously. It also uses these open leaf trinkets, which are a lovely gold colour as well. Add a little bling. We've got all the fiddly bits out first, which isn't a good idea. We've got the beautiful designer series paper. Just look at that, shining in the sun, in what's left of my afternoon sun there, and my lights. You've got 2 pieces of basic white that we're going to back those with. You've got a piece of basic white that's been popped through the Painted Textures designer series embossing folder. So you should have one of those. One of my favourite embossing folders at the moment. And we'll get to the main bit now, which is the card base. If I can get it out without dropping everything else. Oh. As I say, I've got 2 kits here because I've got the kit for our Zoom as well. Hopefully I have left everything in there for that day. Okay, let's pop all that away. So this card base is petal pink in colour. It is, and now I'm not going to be able to remember the measurements. But anyway, as usual, I'll pop these up on my website so you'll be able to see them. It's actually 10 3/4 long, so 10 3/4 long by 4 1/8 high, and it's scored 2 3/8 and 3 3/4 from each end. So 2 3/8, 3 3/4, flip it round, 2 3/8, 3 3/4, and then when it's folded flat, it'll fold like that, and it'll give you what we call the reverse gate, because we're actually decorating the back here. A gate card would obviously, as you guys know, gatefold would open like that, but because we're turning this one around, it's called a reverse gate, which is quite nice. I like this fold because you actually get to decorate more surfaces. You get to decorate the front and the 2 sides as well, so it's a wonderful fold for highlighting or showcasing some of our beautiful paper, etc. Okay, so there we have it. Right, now let's start layering up. Excuse me, frog in my throat. So the pieces of designer series paper will pop straight onto the basic white layers. So just gluing those straight on, and they're going to snuggle just down each side. one there. I don't think this paper has a particular up and down, but just check out, make sure you are happy with the orientation that you use. So one is on the left-hand side, or right, this is the right-hand side, Julianne. On the right-hand side, so make sure you go the same distance, right, top and bottom. Okay, second one, we have the other piece of designer series paper onto the basic white, and again straight onto the other side. We have headed off down the page there a wee bit, apologies for that. I've got my camera a wee bit more further back than usual. Okay, so here try and make the border, the gap top and bottom the same on either side, so it looks like a continuous line from left to right. Okay, so that's those decorated. So nice. Okay, so now you want to bring in your embossed panel. So this panel of basic white that's been through the painted textures embossing folder, and that's just going to sit straight on the front. Again, try and make sure you line it up top and bottom with the white layer behind there on either side, and make the borders or the gaps left and right the same as well. Here we are. Okay, nearly done with this one. It's lovely and effective, but it's really quite easy. So we've got our two die cuts here from the Splendid Thoughts, or Splendid Stems, I think the die set's called on its own, these two here. Now they're very fine, very delicate, and I basically know myself that if I try and put glue on them, it's going to be a big gluey mess. So I'm actually going to use some glue dots to glue these, or to stick these down. And I'm not going to get too carried away with making sure every little centimetre or millimetre is glued. So I'm just going to pop the glue dots on the largest surfaces. I'm going to pop one there. If you find that you get a batch of glue dots that would rather stick to each other and to you than the surface you're wanting to glue, just grab take a pick tool or a little sort of tool that I'm using here, and pop them off onto that, and then you can put them down. Now if you're worried about them being a bit wider than the surface, you can actually pop them on and then just fold the edges around and back on each other. So it'll still be sticky, but you won't see as much of the glue dot on either side of your little stem. So that's a bit of a hint there. So we're going to pop this one, now it's got its glue dots on, I'm going to pop that onto our card base, sort of over to the left hand side, and sort of starting and ending at roughly the same distance on there, so about like that. And we'll do this one now, the petal pink one, and again I'm going to grab a glue dot and pop a couple of them on there. I think that'll do. And I'm going to bring that, so it's sort of going slightly more sort of left to right. There we are. Okay, that's our two little leaves, little silhouette leaves. Now I'm going to bring in the sentiment box. This is a stitched banner from the Stylish Shapes, again the same die set that we used for the first card with the squares. I'm going to again grab my Quiet Meadows, and I'm going to use the Thinking of, oh no, I'm not. Oops. I'm going to use the Today is a Day to Remember from the Splendid Thoughts. So this is actually the stamp set that goes with the rest of this bundle. So that's the other one I'm bringing out after the last card. Okay, so we've got Today is a Day to Remember. Take that off. Pop it onto our little banner. There we are. It's a little bit lower than it should be. That's not too much of a problem. There we are. I'm going to grab some dimensionals again. I'll grab some big ones this time. Oh, crash bang. Got ends to use with this one. I might use my ends. Always use your leftovers with your dimensionals. Never, well, I don't think you should waste them because they're just as good. And sometimes these little end bits fit just about perfectly in tricky little spots where you want dimensionals. So I'm going to pop that. I'm going to pop that one sort of covering over the stalks to a certain degree and heading out to the right hand side, and it does overlap a wee bit there, so make sure you haven't popped, which I have, you haven't popped your dimensional on a little bit too far. I might come back and fix that in a minute, just take a little bit off there where it's overlapping. Okay, so we've got our sentiment on there, really nice. So we're going to bring in our little open leaf trinket in gold. Again, I'm going to use some a couple of glue dots. Pop one down the bottom. Ooh. And one, I might pop one a little bit further up. Again, fold that over so it doesn't show too much, but it's still sticky. I'm going to bring that in, tuck one end of it under the sentiment box a wee bit, and then let the rest of it flow up and over. So there you are. That's the only bling I'm using with that one. I think that beautiful shine and the beautiful shine of the paper either side is quite bling enough. Oh, and the gold foil with that leaf is wonderful. Okay, so that is our second card. Oh, there's a piece of cardstock missing. I've got it in here. You should have a piece of white cardstock for the inside back. So you can pop your personal message in there, of course. Yeah, so you will have it. It's just I haven't got it out. There's a couple of them in there. We should have it. Let me know if you haven't. And this piece of cardstock is going to go into the inside back so that you can write your message or pop another sentiment in there or something like that. There we are. Otherwise, there's nowhere to write, which would be no good at all. There we are. So that's hidden behind our gate there. Okay, so that card now I've done that, that card is finished. Okay, so that's card number 2. Here we are. Love that one. Absolutely adore it. Okay, so let's put that back. And we'll go to our last card, which isn't tricky, I suppose. Not tricky as such. It's just a little bit fiddly getting these layers positioned, or these little squares. Okay, so we're going to do this one now. So as I mentioned, the designer series paper I've used is from the Pretty Prints designer series paper, and the little leaf is from Quiet Meadow, or Meadow Dyes, I think it is. Okay, so we have a white, very uneven card base. I'm going to use that one. I'll use that one later. Obviously, wasn't having a good day with the trimmer when I trimmed that one off. We'll use the other one, which is slightly better, but still not great. Okay, so we're using that. We're going to make this as a landscape card, so it's going to go that way with the score at the top. We've also got another panel of basic white, and this one has been popped through the time-worn type embossing folder, which is one of my favourites at the moment. So that's going to go straight onto your card base. And actually, now we're here, we might as well glue that down. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so then you will have 6 little squares of designer series paper, and there should be 2 of each colour. So there'll be 2 of the orangey colour, 2 of the greeny blue colour, which is Bermuda Bay, and 2 of the beautiful dark it's rich raspberry, which is impossible to describe. It's just beautiful, deep purple. You should have 2 of each of those. I've got 4 of each because I've got 2 sets in here. And I want one more rich raspberry. There we are. Okay, so what we're going to do is position these so that they are sort of in a little bit of a, just form sort of almost like little windows in your card. So we want them to fit sort of evenly across the card. Okay, with the same sort of distance top and bottom, and the same sort of distance left and right. So if you have a little bit of a play, bring them in just a little bit of a fiddle, just to make sure that they are, you know where to pop them. Now, you could just glue those straight on, but I am going to put them on dimensionals just to give that little bit of height. And this is probably the trickiest part with this card. So leaving the rest of them on there, once you're happy with the positioning, pop some dimensionals on. And you can pop it back in and maintain the sort of the straight line. So I know that this one, when I pop it back in, it's going to have to form a straight line at the top and form and line up with the other one on the right, on the left-hand side. So pop that in, line it up with the others. Just like that. Okay, do the same thing with this one, and then we're going to just work our way along. Once you've got the first one on, you should be able to line the rest up fairly easily, she says. Might just be easier if you don't mind too much just to pop them, glue them down, but I think it's nice to give them a little bit of height. So again, this one, line it up with the right-hand side of the one above it and the sort of top edge of the one to its right. Make it reasonably straight. That's not straight at all. I find that if you get to dimensionals quickly, you can rip them up. If you leave them on for very long, they will stick beyond redemption. But if you lift them straight away, you can be lucky. Not a particularly forgiving adhesive. as far as second chances are concerned. Pop this one in again, trying to line that one up top and bottom and roughly in line. I've moved everything so it's a bit tricky. This other green one, Bermuda Bay it is. They should be the same distance top. They should be squares, so there shouldn't be any difference in their height. It might just be my imagination, but they don't seem to be the same. Anyway, it might just be my imagination. Okay, so this rich raspberry one. Lining it up at the top, and again we should striving for similar distance between, and then hopefully we've got the same distance left and right as well, so we have not too bad there. Okay, last one. As I said, this is probably the fiddliest part of the cards you're making today. And again, lining it up so it's sort of in a straight line with those others. Okay, so there we are. So that's our little grid of paper on dimensionals. I'll just have a drink of my tea. Oh, which is very cold now. Good. Anyways, we've got this big parsley. It does look like parsley to me. So it's going to pop on top of our little squares, sort of just like that. If you can see, so it's actually suspended on them, so it looks a little bit high. And again, we've got our stitched banner from the Stylish Shapes, which we're going to use, and some iridescent rhinestones, which we're also going to use. So I'll pop those out. Okay, so I'm going to just glue our little leaves onto the squares that we've suspended. So you can see where you're going to need the glue. Excuse me. Just some glue on those top leaves there, some glue on those leaves there, some glue on that stem, and some glue on just on the top of that little leaf there. It's, you know, you just want to put your glue where it's actually going to stick to something and not be suspended in air. Well, that wouldn't matter too much, it'll dry. There we are. Bit too much glue there. Thankfully it dries clear. It's the story of my life, too much glue. Stay down. Okay, so that's our little leaves there. Okay, so let's stamp our sentiment. This time I'm going to bring out my Thinking of You from The Quiet Meadow. So I'm going to use Thinking of You. You could use that You're Too Kind is quite nice as well. But I'm going to go Thinking of You. And just in black. Although the rich raspberry would be nice for the sentiment, something nice and bright and bold. But I'll just go black. There we are. Perfect. Now we're going to glue. I think this one has, with all those dimensionals there on those squares, I think this one's got enough height to be going on with. So I'm just going to glue that sentiment box straight to the squares. Just pop some glue on the back. Overlapping that little leaf a little bit, not a huge amount. Just going off to the right-hand side a bit. There we are. Okay, and our bling, and we're done. So that's all 3 of our cards. Pop some bling in and around. 1, you should have 3, 2, and 3. And we're done. So that's the 3rd card. I'll pop that bling back into the envelope so I've got it for my Zoom day. There we are. So that's card number 3. Didn't take as long as I thought. I was not looking forward to doing this because I thought I'd take an hour or more, but we've got by in 41 minutes, which is pretty good. So there's our Quiet Meadow card with our Pretty Prints cards, Pretty Prints Designer Series paper. We've got our, and I've popped them all away now, which was a bit silly. We've got our Splendid Day reverse gate fold card there. And we've got our really nice He's the Man double Z right here, which I think is my favourite. Oh, I don't know. I don't like to play favourites. So there's our double Z as well. So that's our 3 cards for this class. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you're actually watching this video after it goes public, so after the month of July is over, please, and you'd like to do one of my classes, please reach out. Available to Australian customers only, sadly. But if you're in Australia and you'd like to get on board with future Funfold classes, please either email me or pop over to my Facebook page where you can contact me there as well. As you've seen, Funfold classes, all you will need are your stamps, your inks and your sentiments. Everything else that you see there will be in your pack. And if it's not, please reach out and let me know and I'll send you replacements. But there we are. That's our cards. There are cards for July. Thanks very much for taking this class and watching this video, and I will talk to you all again next time.